Hey everybody, welcome in, and would you like to get started on our voyage here tonight on Folk and Myth, Ysterra the Far Horizon? Because I think it's time for us to begin with a little bit of a recap. Now, our good friend Kay was supposed to be giving the recap, and so rather than forcing one of my other players here to give said recap without any preparation, I'm going to do it so that they do not have to. So please suffer along with me, if you will, as I do this. Last time we adventured, our illustrious crew of the airship were still having a bit of a pleasant time, as it were, in a little tiny sleepy village of Takanoru in the mid-northern reaches of Kuvalia. They were enjoying themselves a fair bit, trying to really get a grasp not just of their current situation in seeking out this cult that they had been trying to locate more of in order to rescue their dear friend Ren, but also seemingly using this opportunity to relax a little bit thanks to the pleasantness with which Takanoru offered. It's a quaint little spot. It's pretty easy to kind of feel at home there, and indeed they did. They had ventured to the lunar temple there and discovered a little bit about themselves, perhaps. Certainly also developed a great number of questions about not only themselves, but also Takanoru and the temple and well, everything, to be honest. But in their questioning of things and their asking around a bit, they learned of the existence of another temple, an ancient temple, not part of Takanoru, but away from Takanoru, a place known as Arrowreed, a temple that had been long forgotten to most everyone in time. Only the locals seemed to know of it as a hidden sanctuary, or at least had been a sanctuary at some time ago. Now it serves more as a ruins, a foreboding place, in fact, a place where some kind of darkness dwells. There was notions that it might have once been attributed to one of the ascendant of nature, but any specific references to a certain ascendant or other had long since fallen away to time. And in venturing there, they discovered, through a little bit of perhaps magical thrill-seeking, we'll call it, on the part of Mira. They discovered a bit of a secret way, a hidden place in this temple down to the catacombs beneath it. And in venturing their way down, they discovered a place very obviously that had once been used by the very cult with which they hunted. They found journals and remnants of ritual, and a mirror that seemed to contain memory within it, a mirror that offered a glimpse into the past, and also a mirror that offered a certain amount of power in the area of it. Some damage was taken by a few folks as all of this unfolded, and I think as we left off our session last, only the twins remained conscious, if I recall. Both Bren and Sisk lay stable, but unconscious upon the ground. Mira and Adi were both quite injured, but able to communicate with one another, able to kind of talk through perhaps some of the things that they had been dealing with for a while, and maybe it was a long overdue conversation, but it afforded them an opportunity while they rested while they took care of their fallen comrades to discuss such things. As we come back now to our game, I'm going to say, Ian, that Ren comes to consciousness a little bit before Sisk. The twins are obviously still there, and as he coughs and sputters awake, it is worth mentioning that he has an atrocious headache. He still has quite a bit of injury, if I do recall, from what transpired. So, please, my friend, tell us what happens next.
It's funny that you say that, because I think when he comes to, that's what he asks. He goes, "Oh, what happened? Where were? Are we okay?
Are you okay?
Am I okay?
Do you feel...
I felt better after we woke up from that town's party. This is worse.
Yeah, I thought that might be the case. Something happened. We can get into it.
What happened?
Magic happened, and you and Sisk fell. We're waiting for Sisk to wake up too.
You look over and you see Sisk kind of huddled up at the almost leaning, curled up even in the lap of Tig.
Are they fine? Do we need to do something?
I think they're okay, right, Mira?
Yeah, similar to what happened to you. I think they'll just take a bit to...
What happened to me? Magic happened? What happened?
The mirror that was in the room, it, I don't know, I was looking at it and something happened. I don't know how to describe it, but just magic happened, and it sort of flowed through me, and then you guys went down.
Okay. He kind of like sits up. So let me see if, from what little information I can kind of gather what happened. So something was in that mirror.
Yeah.
And when you looked in that mirror, it latched on to whatever is going on inside of you. Kind of similar to what happened when we were in the woods, I assume.
That actually makes sense. I hadn't quite put pieces together. That's possibly something.
So whatever was in that mirror, you are susceptible to, sorry, my tongue's a little numb. It took control of whatever you got going on. And no, I'm not blaming you. I'm just... And it used you to knock me and Sisk out. Is that what happened?
I think so.
Okay. Do we know what was in that mirror?
Sort of. I mean, Miko, did it feel like a...
So it was a memory, kind of, to be clear,
yeah.
Right? Anytime significant magic takes place in proximity to a mirror, and especially when said mirror is used as part of that ritual and, has some innate magic to it, because if you recall correctly, the mirror is shattered now, but there was runes carved into the boundaries of the mirror. It basically recorded memory of events that took place in the visible spectrum of the mirror itself. That was where you saw basically the founding ritual that brought Lorraine into the cult. You also witnessed the functional using of that very powerful but chaotic elemental rune that seemed to awakened the figure whose mortal name you knew to be Thazir Moraine, and now goes by the Emberless Flame after that ritual. And also, I think it is fair to say that given Deb's understanding of the arcane, or Mira's understanding of the arcane, Deb, I think Mira would perhaps bristle at the notion that, whatever was inside the mirror used 80, as much as maybe 80's innate power within her was simply trying to defend her from whatever the mirror was wanting to do. Just as a frame of reference.
So, yeah, that's, I mean, what I saw, and these people are so fucked up, man.
So fucked up, man. I don't know why that got me. Okay.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It just happened, but
we really need to start working on whatever magic you have to see if we can.
Yeah.
Not really put a tamper on it, but a better control, possibly.
Yeah. And like it didn't feel like I could have stopped anything. So I don't know
That's
if they just entirely took over my,
I assume you kind of mentioned like that it shattered. There were rooms like at all the disposition Miko gave. You kind of mentioned that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he looks at 80 and goes. No, I'm sorry. He looks at Mira and goes, Did you happen to recognize like the rooms? Maybe there's something we can look out for.
Most of them were shattered, but I managed to preserve one. It's on a fragment in the bag of holding right now. I wouldn't touch it or do anything with it. I thought it would be safest there.
Okay. So did we let loose something? Are we running? Are we chasing?
I don't think anything like came from it. It was just sort of like a memory of what had happened in this, hellhole.
It was a memory, but I worry that there's some magic that allowed the Emberless Flame to see us at the end.
So now it knows who we are.
I'm not confident, but it's possible.
Okay. Well, no use of sitting around. We probably should figure out our exit.
So what do we just go back?
Back to where?
I don't even know. Takanoru? Do we get back on the road?
I think at this moment we probably should get back on the road. And that map, Miko, we found that in this scuffle, yes?
It was found after Bren and
Okay.
Sisk had fallen unconscious. The destruction of the mirror also destroyed that desk that had been beside it, and kind of fallen behind that desk was the leather bound wrapped map that pointed to Narujin, which, it's large, but I don't recall you guys placing it in the bag of holding. I think you probably still have it out because the twins had been looking at it. So,
and that's where you guys found out that there were test sites on that map.
yeah, there was a number of locations on the map kind of scattered around. Most all of them marked out with X's, a few of them marked with circles. There was some writing here and there, but then also very importantly, there was Narujin that had both the X and the circle and some inscriptions on it that were disturbing.
Okay. So I guess this is a moment where we can make a decision. We can get back on the road and just kind of forget all this happened. Good luck with that. Or we could go chasing this thing.
That sounds kind of crazy, right?
I think at this point, Sisk would probably wake up mumbling something about when has crazy ever stopped us.
That's the exact face that Brent gave. Like, really? Now that's kind of crazy.
Okay, so, Captain, what are our next steps? Do we need more information? Do we need, I don't know, like firepower?
The next step is for me to get some of that coffee from Tig. That's step 1. Step 2, I'm probably going to use the restroom. Step 3, I'm going to change my clothes. Step 4, more information. Profit? No, I'm just kidding. I need to get myself together first, but no, you're right. We need more information. Firepower, I don't know yet. And even if we did, I wouldn't know what. But we need to figure something out.
What is our... Are we just trying to get Ren back? Or are we, dismantling a whole system of cult-like behavior that's been plaguing this region for a while now? Because that seems like a bit of a different and more difficult scenario.
I vaguely remember 2 twin sisters who were all about dismantling hierarchies in society. I think doing this with the cult would be on their to-do list.
Own country, sure, but why did these problems have to be ours?
Because it was made ours. We stumbled in upon it. They took one of ours. There's a bigger picture. Yes, it's getting Ren back. Of course it's getting Ren back. But it's also making sure that these people aren't plagued by this again. They're taking children. They're taking people's family members.
Yeah, they're doing that in the Imperium too.
Okay. What happened to wanting to make a difference?
I mean, obviously we want to... I want this to end. I want them to pay, frankly, for the ways that they've harmed people. I just don't... I don't know. I'm feeling aimless, Bren. And I know that obviously there's a goal. It feels like a silly conversation to have with all of this track right in front of us, but I don't know what we're doing.
Welcome to the club. Never knew what we were doing as soon as we started to set sail. But we have a better heading now than we did when we started. And he points at the map to Nurmagin.
I think Sisk would sit up, or Sisk is now kind of sitting up, leaning heavily into Tig, and just says, if we do get Ren back, arguably we're going to have to fight for her. And I think in that action, we're at the very least going to cause some pretty big harm to these cult people. So won't we be doing both? I don't think it's necessarily about saving the people, which is good. There's a lot of people that are being hurt and their innocence, and that shouldn't be happening and all of that. But at the very least, we get Ren back and do as much harm to these fuckers as we can.
When did you all start becoming so cautious?
So
when my
sleep
sister's
next.
hand got fried off.
I sleep next to a giant, powerful Arcanic engine most nights that I'm pretty certain, if any little thing went awry, would explode and incinerate me. So
I didn't mean you, sis. Go to sleep, little baby bird.
this just curls up in Tig's arms. My head hurts.
No. I feel like that's something Kay would say. My head hurts. No, you two. When did you become? Since your sister decided to touch the rock and their hand blew off, that's when it started.
I mean, it started when we left our home, leaving everyone behind to deal with a mess that we somehow were able to escape, only to find that, the new place that we land is also fucked up, and now we have to reckon with the fact that we left all of our family back in this place that is fucking horrible, and now we're here. So somewhere in there is where I became slightly more cautious, Captain.
Well, then the two of you should know better than most of why we do need to help these people. Because if we leave and we don't, it's going to continue to happen. And I don't think the two of you would be comfortable with that on your conscience, knowing you could have and you didn't.
I mean, we're going to. That's not a question.
And stop this line of conversation. You're harshing my vibe, right? That's what.
No, I'm just saying we're gonna fuck them up. That's happening. I just think that afterwards, I don't know, maybe I'm having like a quarter life crisis sort of situation. Although, I don't know, like what, a 10th of a life crisis, and I might need to, have some guidance after all this. That's all I'm saying. Whew.
That's fine. We'll figure that out once we cross that bridge. But right now, we need to move. We need to do something.
Yeah.
Mira, thoughts, questions, concerns, jests.
I'm with you, Captain. I just think there's always going to be another war to fight. And there's got to be a line at some point.
We'll figure that out once we find it. Well, I'm going to try and stand up again. My back. Okay, none of you look at me. Go busy yourself with something.
Because there's plenty of space in this catacomb to go. Where you won't be able to see your old man friend slowly groaning and creaking his way back up the stairs.
My sciatica. Now Brent decides to be old again.
Getting like Mr. Babineau.
Right? Honestly, Babs had it right. I'm just going to sit here with my pet. I don't have a pet. I do. Wait, Where are my Mirage? And then he just kind of trails off.
All right. So, please, everyone, let me know what your Yes, kitty cat. I know. Please let me know where you are headed. I'm assuming that you are leaving this forsaken title or temple behind.
Oh, for sure. Fuck this place.
Yeah. We grab the map and take that with us, obviously. We'll head back to the boat. Really?
This kitty cat just will not stop. All right, so the lot of you make your way back to the airship. By the time you return to the airship, it is going to be evening, and so you will find your crew all present there. It is worth... well, actually, I'll ask you all, what do you do upon your return? Like, do you check in with anybody? Do you call everyone together to discuss things? What's your intention here?
We're definitely hitting up at all hands.
Okay. Easily done. Like I said, everybody is present. It is worth mentioning that you all do find Oriana on the deck of the ship, which is not a place that she hangs out very often, and 80 would be able to pick up on this better than anybody else, but it's certainly something the rest of you might be able to recognize. She's almost looking back in Takanoru's direction wistfully, in a way. She's definitely been... Something has changed with her after her visit to the temple. You were muted, Ian, so I have no idea what you just sang.
Nah, I was just singing.
I could tell you sang it, though. There was some tone there. I could hear it in your facial expression. Because we talk with our faces, don't we, my friend? So, as you all return and call this all-hands meeting, she, of course, comes to the all-hands meeting, but you can see a definite mood shift in her as everyone is gathered up once again. Probably, I'll ask, is it on deck, or are you in the crew cabin?
I think it would be in the crew cabin, just to ensure that there's no prying eyes or wandering ears or something.
Right. Tig immediately sets out to making some coffee and tea for everyone. Sisk disappears down below decks briefly to check on the Arcanic engine before returning.
Okay, so we're still planning on going to find Ren, but it's going to take us into some very dangerous territory to where we're going to have to fight. There's really no two ways about it. Very understandable if this is not something that any of you are comfortable with. This would probably be the best stopping point. We can always come back and get you if that's what you're comfortable with. There are some of us.
You would see Dove and Nora kind of look at each other with a knowing glance, and then there's this almost half smile on their face before Nora looks down at Taryn and just gives him a squeeze on his shoulder, and Taryn kind of steps forward, and he's had this tiny dirk-like blade on his hip for a while now. It looks like a short sword, on his hip, and he puts his hand, one hand on the hilt of that, and the other hand on the opposite hip, and kind of has his elbows out to the side, and he just looks up at you, and his chin raised, and he's like, "Let's go get our friend back."
Hell yeah, buddy. just trying not to like get real like hype about it. Brandon's just like, yeah, we're gonna fucking do this. Okay. Well, if the rest of you are in, we don't really need you because we have Taryn. But if you want to, kind of trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
Phelan chuckles.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily think that you would need anybody else, but just to be safe, would it benefit us to grab any allies back in Atarak?
We go all the way back to. If anything, we have better opportunities with allies here at Takanoru.
I mean, sure. I just, I think that we need. I don't even know what.
That's the problem, right? Yeah, I don't know if more people would be the answer. Maybe we just need to be smarter in how we approach it. Okay, fine. We'll do that. Just prepare the ship to sail. We're going here, and then unfurls the map and starts kind of like giving the best notion to everybody of what we're gonna do. Okay. 80. Is there any weapons on this thing?
On the ship?
Yeah.
Like cannons and I don't know. I don't really know ships, airships or ships.
Ships.
I know friendship though, you guys.
Best ship around.
He knows a certain kind of ship. This is not one of them. You know that you have the arcane cannon on the front.
Okay, so we do have some type of firepower here. We probably should start figuring out how to use that. It could be helpful. Get some SOPs out there.
Yeah, set up a little target.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that seems intimidating.
I think we all just got nervous about that. Everyone was just like, yeah.
We're gonna blow up the ship.
We're gonna blow up something, apparently. We should probably figure out how to use that, and maybe if there's a way that we can add something. Looks at Dove. You're the smithy. What can we do?
It's full of magic. It's a magical. It's literally called an arcane cannon.
Yeah, but cannon's still in the name, which means there's something that
it doesn't have a hole that you put ammunition into. It's got a big giant crystal wedged in between a ring of steel.
Then make something with a hole.
You want me to make a cannon now?
Can you not?
I mean, I didn't say that.
There it is. Anything, a net to where we can capture people, something. Because we need to have a backup in case the magic fails.
Okay. See what I can come up with. And, I think Sisk kind of raises their hand and says, I'll help.
Okay. We'll go back to Takanoru. We'll get supplies that we can. We should probably stock up on, medicine that along the like as well. You have your tasks. I need to speak to someone real quick.
Okay. They all start going their ways. Before departing, Phelan does step over to Brandon and says, "The ship is ready to go whenever you want, Captain. I've made sure of that."
Thank you, Phelan.
Go ahead and give me an insight check, please, Ian.
Insight. It's 14.
Okay. You can tell that Phelan's kind of tired. They're not working themselves to the bone, so to speak, but they're putting in a lot of extra effort with Ren gone, and it's probably going to catch up to them at some point.
What else do you have to do?
Tonight?
In general?
Oh, there's some rigging on the starboard side that needs to be redone. The sails are a little bit loose, but I think that's going to tighten up the moment we take to the skies again. Whenever we sit for too long, everything kind of just
Settles
a bit, yeah. And so a lot of it, I think, is going to handle itself once we're in the sky again. But we have to make sure that the rigging is well in place in order to ensure that things don't just snap off, you know.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I've been keeping up with the rest pretty well.
Okay. I need you to do something for me. It's extremely important. So, if you could do me the favor and go to sleep. Actually, two things. One, check on Mira, and then go to sleep.
My captain.
All right, I'll handle the rigging and the settling and the tightening and the sails and the what's. But go get some rest. Thank you.
I can do all of those things. It won't take much longer to get the rigging done. It's fine.
I don't care how old you are. I'm the captain, and I'm giving you an explicit order. Go rest.
Aye, sir.
Alrighty. Rigging. It kind of shuffles over to Oriana before he goes to tend to those tasks.
Well, you had dismissed everybody, so I think you find Oriana back up on the deck of the ship.
Perfect. I was going up there anyway, because that's where the riggings are.
Yes. The rigging will all be above deck. You will find her on the navigation deck. That's the highest point on the ship. Give me a perception check.
Perception. Let's do it. I'm gonna use an advantage.
Alrighty, you have plenty to use, so
15. I'll take that.
Yeah. As you are kind of looking at Oriana, you can see she's looking in the direction of Takanoru, of course, but her gaze seems to be shifted kind of up. Remember, Takanoru is kind of on a stepland, and so it like steps up a hillside at various points, and so it has different parts of the town are at different elevations. And she seems to be very intent on looking towards kind of the upper reaches of Takanoru, and you know that that's where the temple resides.
Hey, how you holding up?
She doesn't even turn and look at you, but you can see kind of the side of her face, and she smiles as you approach. And she says, "Oh, I'm fine. Things were pretty rough at the temple that you went to, I guess. Yes."
Yeah, it was kind of alarming to figure out that their priestess has been dead for quite some time.
No, I'm talking about Harrowreed. The ancient temple.
Oh, yes, that didn't consider it a temple, I guess. Yeah, no.
It's still a temple, even if it's not what it was originally built as. It's still a temple.
And someone with your foresight would realize that and respect it. You know, Oriana, you do a lot for us here on the ship. It's extremely helpful in what you do.
Well, thank you for saying so, Captain. And she does turn and look at you.
But I think you're going to be better elsewhere.
What do you mean?
I mean, well, these people here did lose a priestess that had the same type of insight that you do, and I don't know, this town kind of fits with you pretty well. It's okay if you want to stay. I think you would have a great benefit to Takanoru, and they'd welcome you with open arms.
Very likely. But also I know that I'm not meant to stay here yet.
Yet.
I don't know if this is the place that I end up, but it's close. It might be the place. But I know now's not the time. What I'm more concerned at the moment, though, is whether or not everyone is actually prepared for what they're getting into.
Well, that's an easy answer.
Not really.
Not at all.
I feel like that's why I'm here. Because things like temples that have been defiled and, flying through the skies in a direction that we've never been, those are the easy things. And I think I'm supposed to stay here so that I can warn you with as much possibility as there is anyway of when the really hard things are coming. And for what it's worth, I don't see much of that in the near future.
Well, I guess it's a good thing. Just keep it in mind if, for some reason that changes. Although you would be very missed, it's understandable if you'd like to stay.
I know. I just assumed you didn't want to keep me around because I'm such a bad dancer.
Please, with these two left bare feet, you're the one keeping me upright.
If only that were true. And she just kind of walks past you and she stops and she leans over and pulls your head down to her and gives you a kiss on the cheek.
You're
gonna go talk to 80 now.
Get some rest.
I'm gonna go talk to 80 now.
I'm gonna be up here with the rigging.
The rigging, yes.
The
I heard.
rigging.
You mumbled it. You mumble a lot, you know that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Just making sure you know. You don't have to be a diviner to know what's going on in Bren's mind.
Transparent, I guess.
He just kind of pats your hand and it's down below deck. You do anything else?
Rigging.
Before the aforementioned NPCs approach 80 and or Mira, is there anything that either of you in particular would like to do?
I don't think so.
Where does Oriana... Well, I'm sorry, Deb, I did not get an answer from you. Is there anything that Mira would be doing at this moment after or post the team meeting?
Not specifically. I think she might look at the map if she can snag it from Bren and just kind of compare it to any other maps that she has and see if there's anything that stands out to her. And I think that's how she probably occupies her time.
Okay. Yeah, I think Bren probably left the map in the crew quarters. And so as you are sitting there kind of looking over the map and comparing to your other maps, why don't you go ahead and roll an investigation check for me?
$15.
Okay. One of the things that kind of stands out to you as you are comparing the locations marked on the map with the maps of the region that you have, none of the places that are marked are places where there is significant population. All of them are either middle of nowhere, like no civilization within a couple of days' ride, or it's a small place, on the spectrum of Takanoru, but Takanoru is, of course, on the smallish side of these places, right? No major cities, no significant population centers, certainly no significant trade routes. And so, as you're kind of realizing this, I think it would occur to you that can often mean places like this don't have very much in the way of religious, what's the right word? There's not a lot of religious organization there. There's a temple, maybe two. Certainly the townsfolk might be religious in the form of, certain days of the week attending religious ceremony, and maybe there's a priest there, or not, right? That seems to, I think that would stand out to Mira as something that she would notice for it. And so as you're sitting there kind of coming to all of this conclusion, Phelan pulls up a chair next to you and sits down. Find anything interesting?
Yeah. Maybe it's nothing, but... And she'll kind of describe what you had just talked about and just kind of note, pointing to various places on the map and things that she had paid attention to.
I mean, I don't have a great deal of experience with cults, but that still seems a little odd, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm under orders, by the way. I don't know if you heard, Bren isn't exactly quiet about these things.
We walked right out of one conflict and into another, and it's not the adventure that I thought it would be. I thought it would be some new sights and a little bit of freedom, not stumbling into someone else's, I don't know, possible, I don't know, whatever this is.
You mean dealing with a death cult never crossed your mind?
Not really.
Well, I can't say it crossed much of my mind either, but I don't know. I've, granted, never traveled this far, of course, but everywhere I traveled in the Imperium over those decades, especially when I was on the ship, everywhere had problems, Everywhere had something that just wasn't quite right. There was never any perfect place. There was never any... Sometimes it felt like there was never any rest to be had. And certainly when you're dealing with various members of Imperial society that don't even want you to be around if they knew what you were, it colors things. I will say that since coming here, I haven't felt the need to hide. And that's pretty refreshing.
I don't know, it sounds like things exploded when we left, and I just wonder what we could have done if we had stayed.
Probably drawn far too much attention to ourselves. I mean, granted, I don't generally consider my family a great barometer of very many things, but I think that the Imperium was on the verge of immolation at any point, regardless of what we did. Whatever's been going on there has been festering beneath the surface for quite some time. And we certainly were not the spark that lit that match. I don't think we necessarily helped things along, and maybe we fanned the flames a little bit, but it's hard to say whether or not our presence would have made things worse or better.
But at least we'd be there to see it.
True. But then we wouldn't see the skies, would we? Wouldn't have met a dragon. Not like the one that we have met anyway. I wish I could tell you the answers. I don't have them. But I do know that I'm glad to have come along on this with you. If that means overly much.
It does. Anyway, I'm probably just tired.
Yes, that I definitely can relate to. I'm gonna go to bed. Rest.
Yeah.
They stand up and just hold out their hand.
Mira will take it.
As they disappear down the corridor, where did 80 get off to?
I think... I think after all of that, she's hungry. I think she would be rifling around in the kitchen and thinking about whether or not she was a conduit for the bullshit that just went down, or if the same thing would have happened to any of them. And probably leaning into thinking that it was her fault.
Just before Nora heads off to try to wrangle Taryn into some semblance of bedtime, she does mention that there are some ginger cookies in the oven and to pull them out in a few minutes. And so you will find warm ginger cookies in your immediate future.
Perfect. Beautiful.
And I think as 80 puts on the oven mitts and pulls the ginger cookies out of the oven and turns around to set them down on the counter, she sees Oriana sitting at the bar top on a stool, just looking at her.
she will face her and slide the plate of cookies in front of her.
She starts she grabs a small, I don't know, maybe a small teacup plate and starts fanning them to kind of cool them down.
I need to say something.
I know.
Ori.
Go ahead.
I feel like if you already know, this is doesn't matter. When we were in Atharak, I invited you into town, and then I just left. No excuse. It was thoughtless. And I'm so sorry, Oriana. I meant it when I asked you to come. I really did want you there.
I know. You forgot. And that's okay in some respects, and it's not okay in others, and I know that. I think at that point it hurt more than other times because I didn't see it coming. Normally I'm pretty good at knowing when something is about to hurt me. And I didn't see that one. So, yeah. I've been thinking a lot about that, particularly the past couple of days that we've been here in Takanoru, and I think that the reason that I didn't see it was because it really wasn't going to be the kind of pain that would last long.
Okay.
Still your friend, 80. Friends make mistakes. Friends forgive each other. And I forgive you for what happened. For people, things happen. And that's okay.
Thank you for saying that. That's very kind of you. How you seem different here.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I'm good. That temple, it's interesting because I see things so much clearer there than I ever have. I want to come back sometime.
Yeah. It seems really great here. I'd love to have time.
Yeah. Maybe we can spend a season here. I imagine this place in the winter is beautiful.
Oh my gosh, I bet. Yeah. Let's plan on it. I mean,
Sure.
We'll see what happens with everything, but I'd like to learn more here.
You can tell that her expression changes to one of a bit of worry as she says, "So you saw him, did you?"
In a memory? But yeah.
After you left, I wanted to actually get a message to you because I could see that something bad was about to happen. And I almost went to Phelan and had him warn Mira to warn you about it, but he didn't. And that wasn't because of anything other than I knew you could handle it. But also, I think it's important that you understand that whoever that, I don't even want to call him a man, but whoever he is, we need to kind of be afraid of him. And if I had warned you, I don't know if that would have affected how you perceived him. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does. And I know that I am kind of reckless a lot of the time.
It's a family trait, I think.
I think it might be. Oh boy.
You really need to tell me about your younger brother sometime. I know you don't like talking about him, but if you do want me to know when something bad happens, I kind of need to know more about him.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to talk about him right now, but I'm happy to at some point. Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be flying to this swampy jungle place for a while, I think, right? So.
Yeah, plenty of time to talk about my shitty little brother.
He can't be all that bad.
He's not. Mostly. I mean, But I know, speaking of family, that I am reckless, but I saw in the mirror, in that memory, that man, if you can call him that, he's frightening. You're right.
Good.
All of this is very concerning, and I can only hope that we can handle it.
I'll try and let you know when I think that there's a point that you can't.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't want to push anybody into anything silly. It all feels kind of silly in some ways, but they've done really unforgivably horrible things. And
They're going to do more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I could feel that. It was a memory, but I could feel intent beyond that point in time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Everything that I've done to try to find where Ren is, all I keep seeing over and over and over again is the world burning. Whenever I do that.
Oof.
Yeah. These people, they're out of... It's like time doesn't matter to them. They don't have a care for the future, so they don't exist in the future. And I don't know exactly what that means. And that's scary. Every time I look into the future, it's hard to see. But particularly with them, instead of just being a little cloudy and maybe a little blurry, it's all burning. They've done a lot of harm in the world, and I think that they're going to do more unless they're stopped.
I personally feel wildly underqualified to take this on, but we seem to keep stumbling through these situations for better or worse. So
The funny thing about that is you're one of the most powerful people I know. You might even be the most powerful person I know.
that feels like a lot of pressure.
Yeah. You should probably get used to that.
Probably. Yeah.
There's going to be a lot more pressure in the future for you. And no, I don't have to be a diviner to know that. It helps. But...
Okay. I like conversations like this because we are thinking ahead and learning about each other. But Oriana, can we just eat some fucking cookies right now and then go to sleep?
You glance down and you see her actually already has a cookie and a napkin and her hand is going towards you.
Thank you. I really appreciate your insight, and I hope that we can I don't know. I hope that we can use our gifts in a way that can help in whatever way. I would love to, end all of the bad in the world, but I'll take what I can get. So thank you for being on our team.
Most of the time, I'm pretty glad to be here. And she just takes a bite of the cookie, and you hear her just, this is one of those times.
Well,
she then reaches down and takes a couple more, and she hops off of the stool, and she doesn't glance back at you, but she stopped, and so she's kind of still there with you, and you hear her just say, "Did I tell you I don't have any siblings?" And she just kind of walks off.
Sweet. 80 also takes a few more cookies, leaves enough, so,
yeah. Oh no, there's a couple dozen there. Nora knows what she's doing. Come on now.
Yeah. She'll take some and fuck off somewhere.
Cool. So if there is not anything else, we will go ahead and advance to the next day. I'm assuming that you all are, I think I had heard mention that you wanted to head into Takanoru before departing, yes? Okay. So please, my friends, let me know what you would like to do. As you wake up the next morning, for what it's worth, Sisk is awake before all of the rest of you. They seem to be doing fine. They are very focused on making sure that the engine is good to go, and, seems to be kind of going that route for dealing with things. They will perhaps ask if you can make sure to get another bushel of the apples from Takanoru. But other than that, they don't have any particular special requests. What would you like to do?
Is it clear that were there specific people that it was recommended that we speak to?
I mean, you've spoken to everybody that you needed to speak to here in the town. It's more, who do you want to speak to now?
Okay. What do you think, Captain? I mean, what do we need to make this actually happen?
I'd like to speak to like a map maker in town, if there is one?
Not really.
Anyone who's a traveler, someone who has geographical knowledge, because I want to take the map and see if they have any information about this spot,
about
this
spot?
town, the city. Naharun, is it?
Narujin?
Narujin, sorry.
So yes, for what it's worth, you had kind of done that before you left Atrak, and remember it was kind of noteworthy that any specific features about Narujin had been erased from maps. Narujin, you know, based on what Zaranthra had told you, is basically a harsh swamplands. And you know that there are some water genasi there, but there are no civilizations or towns or anything like that in the region of Narujin. And this far north, this far out of the way, this tiny town, they're unfortunately not going to really know anything about Narujin either. There's no trade routes that go through Narujin. It's about as far out of the way as it can get. You literally have to go out of your way to get there. Like, you purposefully have to know you're going to Narujin. It's not someplace that you can even just wander into. It's, that far into the eastern corner of the country.
Okay. Then I guess with gleaning that, with that information, Bren still feels a bit directionless, so he goes back to the temple. Not the bad one, the good one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I knew which temple you were. All right, so Bren is wanting to head back to the shrine,
shrine.
Yeah, the lunar shrine. What was it? Shrine of Shared Silver. That's the name. Are you taking anyone with you, or will you letting anyone know that you're going there? Are you asking if anyone else would like to go, or are you just bugging off?
Yeah, he wild shapes into like a fox or something and takes off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you give any particular captain's orders to any of your crew to do anything specific?
I think right now, I'd like Dove to focus to see what we could do to either reinforce the ship or to give it a little bit more oomph, little firepower if we can, whether it's like a plan, an idea, something like that. Outside of everyone's normal daily tasks to get everything set and ready, which most of it is already done, I think I want them to actually sit and relax and try to find a slice of peace before we get into what we're about to, because the ship has been readily prepared the entire time, so I assume there's not a lot. So it's more so of take the time to yourselves. I will be back.
Yeah. Nora would probably request some coinage from the chest that you all keep for provisioning the ship, and want to head off into town and collect a few more things. But
I'll be honest with you, I don't think Nora has to request. I think I've just made Nora the ship accountant. Like,
okay.
just I trust you.
Out of everyone on the ship, she is absolutely the most qualified for that role, given what she had been doing before you met her.
Yeah, like Nora doesn't request money from anybody. We request money from Nora.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, no, I make my way to the shrine.
Okay. What about Adi and Mira? Do either of you have anything in particular that you are wanting to do?
Since I think you may have used up a potion or two, I'm going to go in search of any healing potions just so we can stock up.
So you won't be able to find a potion maker here, but you will be able to find kind of an apothecary herbalist type role for someone that can make healing, or that has readily available healing poultices and salves that essentially do the same thing, right? So you can mark, potion of healing, just rename it to salve of healing or something like that. The function of it is slightly different, but the result is the same.
Cool.
And I'll say you're able to pick up a few kind of like normal healing equivalents, but they won't have any greater or anything like that. Again, tiny town. It's not really in their purview. Yeah, you know. What about
I would have gone with her. You're just like walking around looking at stuff together, so you know.
All right. Both of you go ahead and give me a perception check, please.
I am going to use my passive.
Of course you are.
I got a 21.
21.
Nice. So, as if the both of you are sisters and linked in some way, the both of you are able to spot pretty clearly, because you know Takanoru well enough at this point. You know that every morning the central square is basically where everybody that has something that they want to offer up for fellow townsfolk, barter or sale or otherwise, they like set up carts and kiosks and whatnot in this kind of central square space. And I think it stands out to you, in fact, that there is you know that the kiln master is not present, and you would see, maybe to your surprise a little bit, that there are a couple of individuals that are selling some of that broken but repaired pottery on a couple of different tables, and it's getting a lot of attention. There are quite a few people going for acquiring things. A lot of it are things that perhaps they aren't paying for as much as, oh, here it is. This is, you had asked for this to be done and now it's finished, sort of deal. So there isn't really much of an exchange of funds or anything like that. And so, yeah, it would probably stand out to you. There's also quite a lot of good food to be had, and certainly there's a baker already out there with enormous loaves of harvest bread and the like, all piping hot and quickly being sold and running out. So
obviously we're buying baked goods that we don't have to RP that. It's happening. But
we should probably put that in one of the chyrons on the overlay. Yes, they bought baked goods.
Anywhere we go, that's with the artisans, and specifically with what you were just describing. I think that 80, and probably Mira too, but 80 would definitely just be inherently interested in the types of art and wares that people are selling, just because she likes that stuff in general, but especially since they're somewhere different. So would the does it seem weird, the interactions that people are having with stuff?
In fact, It seems quite pleasant. There's a lot of joy, emotion, like the emotions that 80 is picking up. There's quite a bit of joy taking place there. There's some lamentation to it as well. Would you like to make an insight check to see if you could learn anything more?
I would. Is this a straight roll, or does it use my...
You're dealing with people, so it'll use your gift.
Sick. Oh, man, 17.
Okay. It does not take very much observation for 80 to pick up on that these people are, in a way, celebrating the eventual return of Lorraine. That much of what all of these things represent is the fact that, that their town had been broken with Lorraine's departure, and once she returns, it will be healed. And so there's some aspect of that going on. And certainly none of the artisanry that is present is being sold at profit, so to speak. And so there's definitely quite a bit of honorifics involved in everything that's happening there. There is still some pieces that are most notably there to be art and to be sold and such, but a good bit of it seems to be more in the vein of this is probably by not necessarily orders, but by recommendation of the kiln master to get all of these things that you all had previously seen when you visited the artisans guild, to get these things back into the people of Takanoru's hands.
Okay. Cool.
So, if there's nothing else for the two of you,
I think they are kind of like looking around and seeing everyone do all this, and I think they're both sort of enjoying watching people go around their business and be happy, and so they find a little quiet spot to like sit and watch and eat some of their pastries together. And Mira suddenly like puts her hand up toward her neck, and she starts taking a necklace off, and she hands it to 80. I think you need this.
I mean, it's very cute, but why?
I'm worried about the mirror and what happened, and this will help protect you in case he saw you somehow.
Oh, do you think he did?
I don't know, but the way that it sort of grabbed hold of you, I just don't want to take any chances.
Yeah. So, what does it do exactly?
You just wear it, and so like someone like Ori wouldn't be able to scry on you or see what you're doing, or a mirror like that might not work again.
Oh, so Oriana wouldn't be able to see?
Well, if you allowed her to, she could, but like someone like her, that might work for the Emberless Flame.
Okay. She just, she was telling me that she kind of plans to keep in touch with us when we go, so that, if she sees anything. I guess she had some feelings about us on our way, but didn't want to, I guess, overstep in a way. But so I don't want to, like,
Yeah, you could just attune it so that she can still get in. But
okay, sure. Yeah, okay. And she'll just put it on and sort of fiddle with it a bit. What about you?
I'm not worried about me.
Seriously? I love you so much, and you're the absolute fucking worst.
You're the one that had the connection with the mirror.
Yeah.
Just for now.
Yeah. All right. And it's silver jewelry, so I knew that there was something up. You weren't just giving me a necklace because it doesn't go with my skin tone.
Yeah. Well.
If we're just trading things, can I have that blue top?
No.
Come on.
I didn't say we were just trading things.
Well, it seems like we might be, so,
You should give me something because I gave you something already. You don't get more things just for fun.
Is that how it works? I thought that out of the kindness of your heart, you would, give gifts to your baby sister who you love so much.
I literally just did.
That's one thing, but whatever. She just like stuffs a huge pastry in her mouth and smiles at you.
Love it. If I'm recalling correctly, this is your amulet of proof against detection and location or something like that.
That's it.
So, yeah, make sure you swap those on your character sheets. This is short rest opportunity, so you can go ahead and attune to it if it requires it, all of that good stuff. I'm fairly certain it requires attunement. Just make sure that you're good to go with all of that. Ian, what animal form did you take to venture your way up to the Shrine of Shared Silver?
Took the form of a fox.
All right. As Fox Bren makes his way in the morning light to the Shrine of Shared Silver, it is important to note that he sees other people there on his arrival. From the vantage point of the willow, the bushes around the willow trees, or just hanging out in slightly out of sight, he's able to see a few other denizens of Takanoru kind of wandering their way around the shrine. He doesn't catch any sight of Priestess Renhira, though. Not that he necessarily expected to, given the fact that he knows that she is dead, but maybe he was looking out for her? Can't see her just yet. As he's looking around, he does see that as some of those folks are departing, one of them does offer what seems to be a kind of prayer. If you would like, you can go ahead and make a religion check.
Yeah. Notoriously good at those. Let's see.
Notoriously good.
Right. All right, DD dice. Here we go. Good job. 14. I'll take it.
With a 14, what I will say is you don't know exactly what the prayer is, but you're fairly certain that you recall something along the lines of it being a prayer in service to Luniesh.
Of course.
It's not exactly Bren's area of expertise, and so maybe he falters a bit on it, but he thinks that's right.
Yeah, I think he goes over to the stone that he sat on, or he was sent to, and he kind of leans on it a little bit, and he looks at the pool there.
Is he still in his fox form?
No, he's come out of his fox form.
Okay.
Like he did it. He went into his fox form more so for quick getaway.
Yeah.
Took off. He leans on that stone. He looks at the pool. He gets a little closer to the pool and looks into it to see if he sees anything other than himself.
As Bren sits down upon this stone, leans over and stares into the waters, he's not exactly sure how many breaths he takes, but it's more than a few. And he stares only at himself. He only sees himself staring back. But then
he's a little disappointed.
But then after he resolves himself to not seeing anything else, feels a hand on his shoulder. He didn't hear anyone approach, didn't even smell anyone approaching. But once he feels the hand on his shoulder and he turns and he looks, he sees the elder Genasi woman standing there.
She goes, hello. And it kind of whispers at them, I know that you've passed.
She kind of gets a bit of a wry smile on her face, and he's reminded of an expression that his mother used to give him when he was super tiny. For some reason, it just flashes into his mind. That kind of knowing expression. And then he's drawn back into the present, and she just kind of shrugs a little bit and folds her hands in front of her waist.
When we were here the first time, you kind of, I don't want to say hinted, you kind of told me that that I'm running from my position, my leadership now.
You're running from a lot of things.
Yeah. I guess I came back here for some type of direction. I don't know. A lot of people are asking me a lot of things. I have an entire ship of people that are looking to me for the next direction, and I don't even know where the next direction is. I barely know how to run this ship. The one person who actually knew what they were doing is now gone, and I am failing at finding them and getting them back, and I'm scared and I'm worried. But then I can't show anyone that because I'm supposed to be the captain. And I have the twins who are dealing with their loss. They lost their mother in front of them, basically, and then they're worried about their father, and then their brother, and then I have my friend Sisk, who is just so understanding, but then at the same time I don't think anyone understands them, and then there's Oriana, who does not need to be here. She needs to be anywhere else but here on this boat doing things, and she thinks that she's protecting us, and she really is, but I don't want to put her in danger. And there's Dove and Nora and their son, and I can't stop thinking that I made the worst decision in bringing them all here, because everywhere we turn is another fight. And the reason why we left is because we didn't want to fight where we lived. Do you think Tamra's safe?
I do not know.
And what was that? And I looked into the pool and I saw me in bear form, and then there were little bears. It's wonderful show. It's my favorite show as a kid. That were standing right next to me. I don't have any children. Do I have children? It feels like I do. Where do I go? What do I tell them? What if someone else is lost?
These are questions that parents ask themselves every day.
I'm not a parent.
Yes, you are. You have chosen to be one, whether you recognize it or not. Have you looked at the possibility that it is okay to be vulnerable? Have you considered that these people that are looking to you for answers are also looking to you for questions that they can answer?
It's just hard when You have to look at them in their face and lie to them.
Then do not lie.
But what if they don't trust me after?
They may not. They may trust you more. You are letting fear and uncertainty guide you, as opposed to letting the fear and uncertainty point you where you should be going.
That's the problem. I feel like I should be going away.
Most people do. That is why it is called fear. Those that exist in the world to do more with life often find that they must face that fear. And truly, what are you most afraid of? Losing this family that you have chosen? Or are you more afraid of the fact that you have chosen a family instead of being alone?
I thought it would be easier to be by myself, but
Most of the time we do think such things, and it is easier at first. But then we miss others. We miss the connections that we make. And the connections that you have made are very strong, very frightening. Did they not sacrifice also? Leaving behind whatever it was you were fleeing from?
they gave more than I did.
Did they?
Greatly. Yes.
Hmm.
That was their entire life there. With Mira and her education, Edie and her habits. It's mostly their family. They left them there to deal with whatever it is they felt that they were running away from. I just left a farm.
You left security. You left behind a life that was comfortable. A life that you could have lived and continued to live until your dying days. You left that behind. And that is not insignificant. Do you regret the decision that you made, or do you regret the decisions you have yet to make?
Both. No, I don't regret leaving. I wouldn't have seen or experienced half the things that I did in the months that I have now and the rest of the time that I would have stayed there. I just regret some of the things that happened in order for us to get here.
Life is not easy. Nor should it be. Especially when you choose a difficult life.
I've already lost 2 people. I don't want to lose any more.
We take risks continually in this world. How do you know that your actions are what caused those losses. How do you know that such things would not have transpired similarly without you?
I don't.
This person that you are seeking, that you hope to find once again, was their life without risk before you met them?
No. No, it wasn't.
I do not think that you are allowed to take such blame on yourself. You can, of course, lament that it happened, and you should. But you are not alone. And unless you choose to be, you will never be alone again. You will always have those little bear cubs in your shadow.
Thank you for the conversation.
You know, Ian, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Oh.
You're going to have to speak up a little.
Thank you for the conversation. It was helpful.
I'm glad. You do not know much of your ancestry, do you?
No, I guess it's there's nothing special. I don't think.
You are on the current quest of dire importance, and I will not assuage you from such a quest. But when you have a moment to spare, you should consider praying to the twilight. If you can find that place within yourself, and you can make that connection, I feel as though you will awaken something that you may have never realized. And that could be a source of strength within you. It may help guide some of these questions that you have.
Okay. I'm cryptic, but okay.
Do you wish it to be less cryptic, or do you wish the journey to be one that you walk your own?
I'll figure it out.
Good.
Do I give you an offering, or do I offer a prayer or something? Okay. I'm not really good at this.
No one is. It's the ones that claim they are good that you should be worried about.
Try to sell you something, probably. Well, thank you. Again, I have to get back to Ysterra, get to the ship.
Before you go, I will leave you with one last cryptic piece of advice.
Please.
Do not let the weight of an imaginary medallion keep you from moving forward.
I think he puts his hand by his pocket to see if he still feels it there.
You feel the weight of it, but it is not in your pocket.
do. You have a good day.
Oh, you. So simple and yet so. You bring a smile to me. And she just like reaches up and pats your cheek.
Kind of walks off. Still kind of like holding his hand by his pocket, but he walks off.
He turns and looks back at some point as he walks away, and she's gone.
All right, let me back up the twins.
You head into town. I'll say that you end up passing by Nora at some point as she is haggling with some merchants that are trying to sell her silverware and complaining that all she wants is a jar of preserves. You still have yet to figure out why that's a thing in this town, but apparently it is. And she's like loaded for bear. She has a ton of bags with all kinds of things already tucked away in the bags, and seems to be picking up a few jars of some kind of preserves or jam or honey or the like. And as you pass by, she just gives you a smiling nod, and you start making your way into town. Before Bryn arrives, I will also indicate for Mira. At some point, as the two of you are sitting there, a young man approaches. He's an Air Genasi, not more than Terran's age, and he has this chest that he carries in his hands that looks to be very heavy for him. And he walks up basically to the two of you and he plops it down on your table, and it makes this loud thump. It's very, very heavy. It shakes the table and such. And he seems a bit out of breath as he looks at you, Mira. And he says to you, this is for your large blacksmithing friend. He had requested some metals from our smith. And he just kind of sighs heavily, and his arms like flop at his sides very, very like heavily. And he starts to walk off.
Thank you.
He can't even raise his arms fully. He just kind of like up at his side just gives you a wave before leaving. The chest itself is relatively unremarkable, except for it's just made of like normal wood. It's got basic hinges and a clasp. However, the edges of it are reinforced with iron. What do you do?
I look over at 80.
Cool.
Yeah. How are we gonna get it? Oh wait, I've got my floating disc. We can, as long as we can get it on the floating disc, we can get it back to the ship. You can
also carry it. If a 12-year-old boy can carry it, the two of you can carry it.
Listen,
suggesting that 80 can't carry it makes her turn into like the third grader whose teacher asked for strong boys to move chairs. And she's like, I've got this. We don't need your disc. Save your spells.
Doesn't even use a spell, but okay. Do either of you open it? Like, I'm surprised that the two of you aren't chomping at the bit to open it, to be honest.
Oh, 80 wants to so bad, but she's trying to be, responsible or whatever.
Since when?
I think Mira would be like, sure, Dove needed supplies. Great. I don't care about what's in here.
Are you kidding? Come on.
I don't know, metal or something.
Yeah, but what if it's not?
Then
what if
be my guest.
Okay, but your hand is already crispy. So if you just use that one to open it...
Mind your own business. That's the lesson. Not continue to burn it farther.
You know that makes me want to touch it more, right?
Go for it. Be my guest.
It's literally in 80's hands right now.
Is it locked?
No, it's a very basic clasp.
She'll keep it on the table and take like a fork or a knife and just like lift it with that.
Why wouldn't you just use your mage hand?
Because she's not thinking. She's got a fork in front of her, Miko.
Okay, sure. You use a fork, you unclip the clasp, and you start to lift up the lid of it. Inside, you find it to be... the lining of it is silk, but it's not like... It's not tightly woven against the inside. It's almost like it's just there to protect the contents, right? And so you see this this bound up chunks of silken lining around the inside of the box, and there are several different things that catch your eye. The box itself is only about like a foot wide and like 6 inches or so deep and like maybe 6 inches tall. It's not a very large box by any stretch of the imagination, but the box itself is quite heavy because of the iron bindings. And also inside, you see several ingots of ore that catch your eye. 2 of them have this almost crystalline-like structure, very, very deep, dark brown and black in color. There's also one that 80 would easily be able to recognize as a large chunk of just raw iron. And then, smaller than the rest, but a significant amount, there's an ingot of gold sitting there as well, like a pretty substantial size for gold. You don't recognize the other kind of shiny, sparkly ingots, though, unless you would like to try to make a check for that. Are you interested in learning what it is? See if 80 might know, or are you willing to just accept it for the unknown?
I mean, I want to know. I'll make a roll. I don't want to like fiddle too much with it because it's technically not my shit.
Mm-hmm.
But she's already peeking, so yeah, I'd like to know.
Is Mira at all interested in the contents?
Well, yeah. Now that 80's poking
now that
around.
it's open. Both of you then could make Arcana checks if you like.
Oh, I'm so good at Arcana.
I'm sure you are.
26.
3. Nat 1.
80 has no idea what it is. Mira would recognize orichalcum, which is an extremely rare mineral that is comprised of multiple different minerals and is only found very, very deep within mountains and can only be formed under the most severe of pressures and such. It's a very expensive thing. You're not quite sure how a place like this would have acquired it, but there are mountains and such in the region, and there's plenty of artisans, and you had heard tale that there was a mine somewhere far off, so maybe it's reasonable, but also the notion that Dove had somehow managed to get them to part with it would be exceptional as well.
I think seeing it, Mira like slams the lid closed, almost hitting 80's fingers.
Watch it! What?
There is some very expensive stuff in here that we should get to Dove.
Okay. Sure.
I think Bran walks up on the two of them as he saw the slamming thing and now sees this tension between the two.
She's like latching it shut. What have you been up to? It's for Dove.
Okay, well, what's in it?
I don't know. It's for Dove.
What's in it?
A
I don't
very
know.
expensive thing.
What kind of thing?
It's called orichalcum. It's
Gesundheit.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how Dove managed to acquire this or what he spent for it, but it's not something to be flaunted around in front of the whole town.
So why did he give it to you two?
He didn't. It was delivered to us for him. I don't know. Some kid brought it over and said this was for our large blacksmithing friend.
Okay, that's fine. Sure. Do you need help carry? Is it heavy?
I think 80 really wants to carry it.
I do. I really do.
Okay.
She like hikes it up and then sort of starts to tilt over and decides to just...
You can carry it. It's not going to be easy carrying it all the way back to the airship.
Yeah.
Because you guys are like a mile away from the airship.
She will not ask for help. She'll start slowing down a little bit, just a little bit, and there's like some sweat happening. But she is not going to ask for help.
And Bryn's not going to offer. He's just going to watch you struggle. Okay.
How's it going?
That's what I deserve.
Doing good? You look great.
You seem a little shaky there.
Thank you. Nope.
Everything all right?
I've just got a glow. It's fine.
The mirror does have a floating disc that we could just put it on.
Look, Bren, if you're so desperate to put it on the disc, then fine. We'll put it on the disc. Come on, Mira.
No, you're doing great. You clearly love it.
So strong. So strong.
Yeah.
We've only got a quarter of a mile left.
Oh, is that all? No problem. We've been climbing mountains and stuff, so, this is not a big deal for me.
Sure.
How badly is 80's shoulder just hurting right now?
Well, it hurts. It definitely hurts. But her pride would hurt worse if she were to give in, so...
Onward and upward, I guess.
Eventually, you do make it back to the ship. 80 is not going to have functional use of that arm for at least half a day.
It's fine.
You can just ask Mira for tips. We'll say that it's your left arm, too. So you guys are like mirror masking it.
Miras?
Yeah. But just
gotcha.
Everyone eventually makes their way back to the ship. Trying to think would there be any indicators you all think that, because this is a small town, news travels, and Nora was definitely acquiring provisions. I'm curious if there was anything that Mira and 80 might have said that would have given any kind of indication for the scuttlebutt in the town to be that you all were getting ready to depart.
I don't think so. I think Mira was just sort of like going about her business and...
Tell you what, we'll do a scuttlebutt check for the town. I'm going to say that they've got a +5 to this because it's, small town, news travels. Deb, why don't you go ahead and roll a d20? And we're going to call this a DC, we'll say it's a 14.
What if I told you that while this is happening, none of us turned into a bear and started juggling? Does that make us, fly under the radar a bit?
Well, I rolled a 2, so...
Yeah, you guys did a pretty good job of masking things. Nora probably shut down any notions of that kind of thing pretty quickly. And so as you guys are back at the ship, there's no one from the town to send you on your way. And and everyone is gathered up on the ship. Phelan, of course, looks at the captain and are we ready to go, sir?
Yes, we are. I think Brent does give all right, last chance. Wouldn't hold it against you if you wanted to stay.
Or Oriana starts heading towards the edge of the ship as if she's going to leave.
I mean, if you...
As you're saying that, she reaches the ladder and she starts pulling the ladder up.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, let's go.
Phelan starts, telling people to batten down various things and, handles certain parts of the rigging and such. Sisk heads below deck and starts getting the arcanic engine is already warmed up, but getting things going. Is Bren going to take the helm?
Yes, I am. And I put on a hat that I bought in town. And it's terrible, but he's very proud of it. And he goes, all right, let's do this.
Is it one of those poofy berets?
It is. It's so bad. It's like...
Can you please still wear it when you turn into a bear?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
We take off. We're out of here.
All right. You all start taking to the skies. Is there anything in particular that any of you do as the ship lifts off with a bit of a groan, because it had been touched down for a few days, but as the ship takes to the skies once again, is there anything in particular that any of you do?
My job.
What is 80's job these days? Because I don't actually know.
That's a great question, Miko, that I've definitely thought of and have an answer to.
Great.
Right,
I would love to hear that answer if you could offer.
Yeah, totally. So she does a lot of stuff with ropes, and adjusting the ropes. Obviously she does whatever Cap says. Just that's about it.
Why are you playing with that rope? What's wrong with the rope?
It's fine. What do you need me to do?
What? It's just take the helm for a little bit. You're just unraveling and wrapping it up. You're just not okay.
What about Mira?
I think Mira would go down into the engine room and assist Sisk with anything that Sisk would be doing during takeoffs and landings, and just sort of checking in and making herself busy that way, because she likes the simplicity of the engine room and what it offers.
Sure. As you all take to the skies,
Wait, Miko, you didn't ask me what I was doing.
You already said what you were doing, yo. Captain
Well, no,
stuff.
because now that
Okay, what is Bren doing now, Ian?
hell yeah! Now that 80's at the helm, Bren's doing that treasure planet thing when he like climbs to the top of something, and he's just. This is more so what Ian wanted to do. Ignore me. Please continue with this lovely story.
As you take to the skies, you see Takanoru behind you. You, maybe with varying emotional responses, leaving such a place behind, you can't help but be sad a little bit, perhaps. Regardless of that, however, ahead of you lies the open skies. You perhaps missed this too. You perhaps had gotten comfortable with flying once again after your visit, the several days that you had been in Atarak. There is something about being here. There is something about feeling the wind, feeling the chill in the air that is freeing in so many ways. This is the freedom that you had tasted before, that you had wanted so much of when you left the Imperium behind. And while everybody on the crew has their different reasons for going on this venture across the skies, one common thing that all of you seem to share is this growing love that you have for flying, for seeing the world from a perspective that no one else, or so very, very few in existence, are able to see it. This perspective that has changed you in so many ways. Someone is doing the navigating. I think that's supposed to be Mira? Or is it supposed to be Bren? Who's the one who's actually reading maps and picking directions and...
Mira.
Okay. Go ahead and make for me a... Technically, this would be navigations tools check, which I don't think Mira is proficient in.
She is not.
Okay. I'm going to say because you have been doing this for a while, you don't get to add your full proficiency to this. But you also have maps and such that you're well used to at this point. So we'll call it half proficiency. But I think at this point your half proficiency is still going to only be +1 because you round down. So make an intelligence check and add 1 to it.
$23.
That's pretty damn good. Maybe Mira had been already planning this out before, knowing that at some point you were going to be headed to Narujin anyway, and you'd already kind of figured out what you needed to figure out ahead of time. So you set a course. You're a few thousand feet in the air. It's cooler. And you are on your way to Narujin. You see the colors of Cavalia once again, and it is enthralling in so many ways, but most of the time you're too busy to take that in. You get a few moments here and there throughout your day to enjoy the beauty of this place, especially seeing it from above. Not every day is like this, so you take in what you can. You figure if you catch good headwinds, you'll be able to get to Narujin in maybe 6 days. You have a little bit of time. I'm going to ask each of you what you do with yourselves during the first, say, 4 or 5 days of this journey. But before I do that, Deb, Mira is approached by Dove. You can see that this is maybe the second day after you have, the next day after you left Takanoru behind. Dove approaches you, and he has one of those ingots of orichalcum in his hand, and you can see that he's already been using some of the artisan tools in the base, or in the bowels of the ship. He's already started to forge it a bit, and he approaches you, and he says, "So I think we're going to be able to do a test fit here in a couple of days, or something. Don't know how well it's going to work yet, but
okay, that's amazing."
A lot of the magic on there is not. That's not me. Sisk is helping a bit, but I think you're going to have to do some of it.
Of course.
Or anything you it's going to sound weird. Is there anything you want me to help you with? And he kind of looks down at the wrapped up hand.
I'll let you know. I've been putting that salve on to try and keep it a little bit flexible, at least.
I know this isn't going to be easy. I think we've already kind of gotten that baseline. But I really don't know how hard it's going to be, actually. And we're probably going to go through a few iterations of this before we get it right. So, I mean, this could be a good thing, but also maybe don't get your hopes too high.
I understand.
We're really going to try, though.
I know.
Get it right eventually, I'm sure. But, yeah. Tomorrow, I'll have some of the metal work done, and you and Sis can maybe get started on, like, the runes and stuff.
Yeah. Whatever you need.
Okay. And he just kind of gives you a pat on the shoulder, trying to reassure you a bit, and heads back down. So what are these few days of travel like for each of you?
Fun and fancy free.
Okay, so what's it really like?
It's a carnival cruise. For Bryn, I honestly think it's keeping himself occupied with everyone, right? Similar to when they were on their way to Takanoru, kind of, he's working with everybody. He's not giving a lot of orders outside of like the base level. This is what we need to do. This is what you looked at. This is what I have. And like, he's still trying to fill that space that Ren filled when they were there. In addition, I think he's spending a little bit more time with Mira and Sisk when it comes to the engine as well as reading the maps. He's trying to gain like an entire... He's putting himself through a crash course on how to be a captain. Like that's what he's doing, or that's what he's been doing anytime that they're sailing.
I think everyone is kind of... There's a lot of tension that is gone. You know, when you had left Atrak behind, everything was under the premise, we got to go quick. We got to find Ren. This is all for Ren. Right? Move, move, move. And Takanoru did provide some respite from that tension. And so while everyone still desperately wants to find Ren, it almost feels like some of the urgency might have been replaced by a determination. If that makes any sense for you?
No, 100%. And I think that's what's fueling Bren too. Like, he can see that people are not working because I guess they have to. They're working because they want to. Like, it feels as though that we are on the same page at what we want to do, at where we're going, at what we're figuring out. And that kind of just puts a little bit more energy in him while he goes about duties.
Great. What about Mira?
I think Mira is back to her old ways of her nose in 10 different books, and she's scribbling notes about the arcane stuff that she needs to do for Dove, and she also is going over some of the notes and things that she's taken on the Umbrellas Flame and the cult. And I think in kind of the margins of the notes that she's making, she's occasionally sort of mindlessly sketching variations of the rune that was on the shard of mirror, and that's still sort of in her mind as well.
Okay. I'm going to have Mira do an Arcana check with assistance from Sisk to see how well you guys do with the first version of the what are we calling that? Harness?
Yeah.
The
harness.
Yeah.
27.
Okay. The runes aren't the problem. The magic gets applied to this beautiful arrangement of orichalcum and steel and gold that Dove manufactures. It doesn't fit quite right yet. It's going to take a lot of adjustment. Certainly, as a first iteration goes, it fits well, but there's still a lot of pain, and the magic doesn't alleviate that pain. There's a point on this, like about halfway through the journey, when, the first fitting is done, and then you start working to make sure it fits physically, and then you start working on the runes, and the magic takes hold, and you can see the immediate impact of how the magic affects the mobility of the metal, and like there's a bit of hope that you can't help but let creep in. But as it goes on to Mira's arm, and particularly onto her hand and over her fingers, there's so much pain. It hurts so much. I am curious, Deb, if you could explain what it's like for Mira to experience two different aspects of this. One, the pain, and the other, she's able to move her fingers fully. Even through the pain, she can move them, perhaps for the first time in a while.
The pain is almost like if you've ever experienced like migraine with aura, where it's this sort of blinding, radiating sort of thing where your vision narrows and you just like can't really see anything. And it's all pinpointed in her hand and her fingers. And so she's got some tears kind of coming down her face because it hurts so much, but knowing that her fingers are moving, she like just sort of grits her teeth and fights through it as best as she can, because she does feel that hope and the Just the determination to make something that will make this work, even if this isn't the right, it's just a first try, and it's something.
You can correct me on this if you think it would play out differently, but I feel like Mira passes out, trying to fight her way through the pain. She wills herself to keep going when she really shouldn't be, and she faints for a brief moment. But when she comes to, Dove and Sisk are already removing the harness and taking it off of her hand, and like they're getting the wraps and the salves ready to bind her hand back up. And Sisk has this almost motherly like quality for a moment as they do the shh, it's okay, and start like taking care of Mira's arm and getting it back together. Dove will offer a lot of reassuring words of like, that was a great first try. I'm going to make some refinements. I'm going to, change some of the rigging on the fingers, and, it's going to be a better fit next time, I promise. Sort of deal. But eventually Mira's hand is bound back up. She still feels that throbbing that comes with every time she has to change the bandages. What is 80 doing on these first few days of the journey to Naorijin?
I think that she still leans into doing whatever work she can. I think less so now as a distraction or like trying to prove her worth in some way, like it kind of was before. I think it has become sort of second nature, and now she uses that time to sort of mull over everything that's happened recently with her conversation with the priestess and trying to figure out what all of that meant. I think she'd spent a lot of time looking at the sky and just like sometimes staring at it and thinking like, just do something. I don't know. You're the sky, whatever. And just sort of like going through cycles of like, she's not even alive. So what difference does it make what some priestess says, to like really focusing and being like, oh, I think I can, is there something out there, and so I think she spends a lot of time just in her head with all of that while she's getting shit done.
On the fifth day, well, actually, it's probably as the fourth day is coming to a close, the twin suns setting in the west. I need for 80 to please make an insight check without her advantage as she looks out at the eastern skies.
I would like to use one of my advantages that I was granted by our wonderful viewers.
That's much better.
It is much better. That's a 22.
You're standing there as the, evening is coming on and as twilight is coming close to setting in. Varl, for what it's worth, Bren is also down one. I think you were AFK when he had used one earlier. As 80 is looking out at the sky, she sees clouds in the distance that are a little bit unsettling. And then she hears a voice next to her as Oriana walks up. Still in that kind of creepy way because she can't read Oriana as easily, and so it's rare. Like, Oriana is one of the few people that can actually sneak up on 80. and so probably causes her to jump a little bit as Oriana looks out and sees the sky as well. And as 80 looks over, she sees that Oriana's eyes are white. And all of her eyes on her body are open. And she's looking out at the sky, and she has her mouth is slightly agape, and she takes in a sharp breath. And she says, "We have to turn south." And then she turns and looks at you, and her eyes are still pure white, and her gift is still taking hold of her. And there's an urgency there. And she says, "No, we have to turn south. We have to go south now."
80 isn't sure if Oriana really sees her, but she nods her head and she runs to Bren, to whoever's at the helm, if it's Phelan right now.
Probably
and,
Bren. Yeah. So
yeah,
we'll say that it's Bren.
Just...
And Ori does follow you. And so Bren, by
Yeah.
the time that the girls reach you at the helm, you can already see that there's a little bit of like maybe some storm clouds coming the next day, maybe. And you're already maybe thinking about what to do about that when the two of them come rushing over and you see Oriana in her divination state.
Bren, we need to go south.
South, why?
There's something out in those clouds. We have to go now. It's going to hit us quickly.
Already doesn't question it.
Yeah.
Just,
You immediately send the ship turning directly south. You perhaps call down, because there is that pipe system that you can actually at the helm kind of cast your voice into, and it will ring throughout the lower decks of the ship. So you cast warning to everybody, and all of the rest of you, the crew, can feel the ship kind of lurch in that direction. There's a crash from something that was going on in the crew cabin that hadn't been entirely secured, but you start heading south. Whoever's on deck, so for certain 80 and Bren, but Deb, I'll let you decide if Mira is up there or not. Please roll a perception check for me. Are you
I'm gonna use an advantage? Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
That's a lot better.
25 total.
Nice. I'm assuming, Beth, that you're using your passive.
Correct.
Okay. Was Mira on deck or below deck?
Below deck.
Okay. 80 can see it too, but maybe not with the clarity that Bren can recognize it. 80 sees storm clouds in the distance. Bren actually sees those storm clouds move towards you, change direction, and move towards you.
Okay, great. Perfect. I call back down into the pipe thing. Hopefully it reaches to the engine room. Yeah, we need to go faster.
Is Mira in the engine room?
I think so.
What does she do now that she has felt the lurching of the ship and hears this from Bren?
I think she looks to Sisk to see if there's anything.
I'm going to say that Sisk isn't in the room.
Okay.
I'm going to say this is one of those moments where Sisk was like going above deck for, maybe to the crew quarters or something, and just leaving Mira to handle things.
All right. Mira then is going to just sort of whisper to the ship, "Okay, we've got to go faster," and then just start casting something, just cantrips over and over again to see if adding magic to the engine would speed it up any.
I think by this point, Mira knows that it has to be a leveled spell.
Okay.
Now, being a warlock, slightly advantageous because all of her spells are, higher level spell slots. So
Yeah.
she doesn't necessarily have to pick a particularly egregious, fireball or something like that to get a high level spell slot. So what kind of magic does she channel that the Arcanic Engine dematerializes into its component raw form?
She's gonna cast Spirit Shroud and think about the previous crew members and just sort of channel their energy to help urge the ship forward.
Like that. Go ahead and make an Arcana check for me with advantage.
21.
Are you going to use one of your...
Yes, I will.
Ooh.
Not better.
Yep. You channel this power into the Arcanic Engine. It takes hold. All of you can feel the surge of force that the Arcanic Engine kicks into gear with. I think a few moments after this is when Sisk comes into the room and starts kind of helping Mira with things. The Arcanic Engine's going pretty significant. It's probably like 110, 115% of what it is capable of. And, that's pretty significant. Nothing's redlining yet, but you probably don't want to be doing that overly much. And so as you all feel the ship lurch forward, Bren's at the helm, so he doesn't need to do this, but I feel like 80 and Oriana both need to make athletics checks to see if they can keep their feet, so to speak. I'll go ahead and roll for Oriana. Oof. Oriana did not do well. Is that what you're going with?
No.
No?
It's not what I'm going with. I'm going to use an advantage.
Okay. Wow, that's so much
better.
For a total of?
19.
19, okay. Do you think that 80 would catch Oriana?
Yes.
Okay. So Oriana falls into 80, and 80 is able to keep the both of them standing, even though Oriana's feet kind of go out from underneath of her. The ship lurches forward quickly, and Bren, the clouds are closing in fast. Even faster than the ship can go. This is not a natural storm. This is something else. Kitty cat.
Okay. I don't want to put too much more into the ship because I don't want to blow our engine. How far would you say that it is from us right now?
It will be upon you in minutes.
Minutes, he says. Okay. Do I have anything? I don't have anything.
I have to ask, as the captain, have you prepared, even in your own thoughts, if not trying to prepare the crew for the notion that at some point the crew will have to do battle in the skies?
I think we danced with the idea when we met Zaranthra for the first time. It's about to happen right now. But here we go. This is it. I think at that point he kind of leans over the helm and he locks eyes with 80 and he goes, I need you to get on the cannon.
I'm sorry, what?
I need you to get on the cannon. Either drive the boat or I get on the cannon. Pick one. Cannon or boat? Pick one.
Boat. I'll steer the ship.
Fine. So when he gets up there, he goes to the no.
I'm just going to point out something. Either of you can perform either role perfectly well. is your hesitance to actually do the cannon you hesitant, or 80 actually being hesitant? Because I feel like 80 has the jams to blast shit, right? She's proven that a few times. Or is she scared because the last time she really blasted something, it was a scary situation? So I'm trying to make sure I understand what's going on here, and I'm hoping
Beth,
you can kind of explain.
Your jams.
So listen, I, Beth, am hesitant, but
like, is 80 also hesitant because she's afraid to go full bore on magic?
Yes, but. So I think she looks at Bren with panic in her eyes, which I don't think he'd be accustomed to seeing in terms of like the actual work of the ship. She's pretty level-headed. She gets shit done. But I think when you ask her that, you see just some panic in her eyes, and then it sort of like, I don't know, it just ebbs away, and she's like, okay, yeah, I'll go to the cannon.
Okay, we'll do this. And I think at that point, Bryn turns on the fasten your seatbelt sign, like whatever signal.
I don't think that sign exists, but if he wanted to call something, what would he call down to the crew through the pipe system to alert them? Does he say battle stations, or does he say something else? Gird your loins. This is not that kind of situation, Beth. Just pointing out. Gird your loins.
I was gonna say, hold on to your butts. We're going in.
Okay. That rings across the ship. At this point, you guys can all hear the thunderous sound. The thunderous sound of the storm closing in. Those of you that are on deck can actually see the darkened clouds. The skies that were already turned to twilight practically turn to pure pitch black darkness. You can see roiling through those clouds signs of lightning as well. Oriana runs over to the mast of the ship and grabs onto some of the rope rigging and ties herself off, because that is what she was taught to do. You all see Phelan up in the rigging, kind of securing themselves, but also securing several parts of the sail. He yells out to Bren, "You're going to lose some mobility here, but it's going to be necessary to keep the sails from getting shredded." Dove comes above deck as well and starts assisting with various things, but as he was coming up, you all could hear him yelling down below, "Secure everything, get things buttoned down." Sisk is, of course, in the engine room, and things are stable at the moment in the engine room, and so Sisk will look at Mira and say, "You can go up if you want to. They might need your help up there."
Mira will just run out of the room.
Okay. As you run, you can already see Tig like whoosh, 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 running towards the engine room to assist Sisk as you make your way above decks. As you reach up there, all of you will find that the ship is starting to become engulfed by this storm. The interesting aspect to this storm, however, is that there is no rain yet. Oh my god, Cat. There is no rain to this storm. There is only darkened clouds and thunder and lightning. And as you are looking to these skies and you are getting thrown around on the ship, having difficulty even controlling and keeping the ship righted in the sky, you aren't sure what direction you're even going anymore. You no longer have a heading. You no longer have sight of even the ground or the horizon to reference yourself for where you are going. And then you hear
a roar emerge that is different from the thunder, that is different from anything else you have ever heard. And in a blast of energy, you see forming from lightning this bird-like entity, seemingly made of lightning itself, tear out of these darkened clouds and start flying directly at you. And that's where we're going to call it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to conclude tonight's adventure with a thunderous boom. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you are all well and will continue to be so in the future.